Welcome back to some Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where I'll be playing D&D in about 20 minutes. So basically, as soon as this episode ends, I was deciding whether to record or not now, or to prep not. But I already prepped because initially we were going to have a session on Friday, but then it got cancelled, unfortunately. So I it's not like I've really prepared like huge like swaths or anything, because it's kind of like more like the pieces are already in place. I kind of just like at this point it would be just me reminding myself. But hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, 6:40 p.m. on Monday, July 8th, 2024. Also, it's like a pretty open-ended thing, so it's like pretty difficult to actually plan for. I was like, when I was initially planning, I was sitting there being like, I don't really know what they're going to do yet, because I mean, I basically dropped like a plot bombshell, I suppose, on them at the end of last session, and you know, they've had no time to basically discuss exactly what they want, what they think, what they're going to do. That's going to come all at the start here, so I'm just like, I don't know what they're going to do. I can guess, but there's only so much I think I can anticipate. The rest of it, you know, you're going to have to like improvise, I suppose. I'm kind of busy right now, Raymond, I'm sorry to say. But yeah, what else? D&D today. I'll be busy probably tomorrow evening, and then more D&D, and then maybe some more drawing. I don't know. I'm trying to sneak in some Zone Zero here and there when I can. I've not really like managed to sneak in too much. I did play actually a decent amount like yesterday, but like at the cost of like going to sleep at like 3 a.m. or something. Which you might be like, that's atrocious, don't do that. It's sort of like, well, I mean, I wouldn't really recommend anyone do that, even myself, even me, who does not require that much sleep. It just, you know, happens that way. Certainly not a thing I would do on a regular. But I was like, you know, it's a weekend, I'm not going to have any other time otherwise in the weekdays. But nonetheless, I got a bit more in. I still haven't managed to pull the shark girl who's on the banner. What's her name? Ellen? I can't even remember her name. But I'm trying to get all of her faction. I'm on 2 out of 4 of the pieces, so yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll just talk about other stuff which happened on the weekend. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could talk about D&D stuff, but I don't really know what's going to happen, to be honest. This one's more sort of like a, as I said, but both sessions right now are sort of the final climax. The other group is literally in the final Act 1 boss fight, because they basically raced there as fast as possible, and I was like, all right, if you want to do so, do so. The other group, this group, I'd imagine, will probably take a bit more time to more carefully consider the situation, or maybe not, I don't know, maybe they might rush into it as well. But both boss fights are, you know, probably deadly, like deadly CR rating, so decent chance someone might die, which is gonna be weird. I don't know what I'm gonna do, like if one of the player characters actually straight up dies. But I think they both had the taste of that, where like in the past few combats, like they've been downed a few times. Sometimes the dice don't work out. Sometimes it's like hey, you've got to put more strategy into your combat here. Oh, I'm going to take advantage of it. But now it's going to be interesting, because both these boss fights are going to be against reasonably smart enemies who will actually strategically try and end their characters' lives. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, the other thing I was going to talk about, which happened over the weekend, which was really the main thing, the main driving force of what we did over the weekend, is we went to a place in London which basically sells really weird flavors of ice cream. But you might be like, oh, what does weird mean? You might be like, oh, guava flavored or something? No, weirder. You might be like, I don't know. I was going to say baked Alaska. I guess that'd be kind of weird, because that kind of uses ice cream in the cake in the first place. And I'm like, no, weirder. Like, I will tell you, the sample of flavors we had, well, we had 8 flavors between the 3 of us. And my friend had probably 2 of the more normal ones. You know, his first one was Jaffa cakes. Honestly, a pretty normal flavor, to be honest. Fine. I'm not like a huge fan of Jaffa cakes or anything like that. Like, even though I don't have much of a sweet tooth in the first place, but even then, Jaffa cakes are very much like for me. Take them or leave them. I would very much leave them. Not for me. It's not like I hate them. I don't like eat them and go, blah. I sort of eat them and go like, it wasn't worth the calories. Which is, maybe that's too pragmatic a way to evaluate whether you like or dislike something, but, you know, sometimes that do be how it is. Actually, now I think about it, what I should have probably done, which I can do now, is set up Foundry. So you might hear some music for a little bit of a second. But I need to set up some on Foundry because I need to get my sessions open. I need to get the right scenes open. I need to make sure there was nothing in the chat from the last... Oh, you know, I already had it all open from last time. And I already got the music paused, ready to go and everything, so... Wonderful. Yeah, but we had like weird flavors of ice cream. He had Jaffa cakes as the first one, and then the second one he had olives, which was okay. I'm also not like a huge fan of olives. Again, I don't hate them. I wouldn't eat them and be like, bleh. But if you were like, oh, would you put them on your food? Would you be like, oh, olive flavored food with olives in? Yeah, okay. Hold on. This is the way I'd say it. If I saw a menu item which I wanted to eat and it had olives in, I would not ask to take out the olives. I would not avoid it because it's got olives. But if I saw like, oh, you know, what toppings do you want to put on your pasta or pizza or something? I don't know if you put olives on pasta. I would not choose to put olives on it. And if someone offered, it was like, hey, we could put the olives on for free, I'd probably think about it, and I'd probably be like, no, depending on what the food item is. For some food items, I'm sure I would. So he had olives, but he really likes olives, so yeah. My other friend had some very interesting flavors as well. He had marmalade, I think, orange marmalade as one of them, which actually, in my opinion, was the worst one of all of them, which was crazy to say. It was just like so weirdly bitter and sour. Like it just didn't taste very nice. Like it kind of tastes like orange pith, is what I'd say. So it wasn't particularly appealing in that regard. What was his other flavors? Oh, the other one was, it was just described as salt, but it's not salt. It was actually dark chocolate and salt, which is actually a pretty common combination for like candies, or for like chocolates. Like dark chocolate and salt is a very common thing. And having it, honestly, it didn't really taste that much like salt. It very much just tasted like dark chocolate and dark chocolate flavored ice cream. Fine, good even. I like dark chocolate, so yes, I would classify it as good. But you're going to lose your mind, I suppose, over this other flavour. His other flavour was baked beans. And you might actually ask, what are baked beans? They're very British food. They're part of like the full English breakfast quite often. But they're basically like a bean. I don't know what bean, to be honest. Like a boiled bean in a sweet tomato sauce? Is that literally what baked beans are? I guess it'd be a baked bean in a sweet tomato sauce, and you know that probably makes more sense. White common beans that are parboiled and then baked in a sauce at a low temperature. But yes, they are they actually originated in the US. That actually blows my mind. I actually thought they were made in the UK. But they were actually made in the US. That's crazy. New England. But yeah, they're like, I mean, that's what baked beans are if you don't have them where you're from. They taste kind of like sweet, I would guess. The beans are like very soft as well. So it's very much like biting into a soft bean with like a sweet sort of tomato sauce is probably how I describe it. You might be like a bolognese sauce. No, not really like a bolognese sauce. It's much more like thin and runny and much sweeter, I would say. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, apparently in the US they make, US and Canada, bacon, ham, salt pork, and maple syrup, molasses, brown sugar, very common. Fair enough. Anyway, he's kind of associated with baked beans because he likes baked beans a lot. There's not much else to that story. That's it. So he had a baked bean flavour. And I will tell you, you might be like, was it good? Was it bad? It was actually, in the most underwhelming sense possible, it was fine. Like, fine as a weird flavour. Would I go and choose to have baked bean flavour if I saw it like in a gelateria? No. That's crazy talk, especially now because I've had it. But if I hadn't had it before, would I try it? Yeah. It doesn't taste bad or anything. Like, weirdly enough, the actual ice cream itself doesn't taste like almost of anything. It basically almost tastes like a vanilla ice cream. I don't know if we just like had a bad batch. I fully expected it to taste like tomato ice cream or something, but it really didn't. It just tasted like nothing, just like plain vanilla. But the crazy thing about it is they have actual baked beans in the ice cream itself. So they were like, you'd just be eating it and there'd be just random like a hard baked bean in there. And you might be like, how did it taste? It tasted like a frozen bean, literally devoid of any flavour whatsoever. So it just has a texture of basically a frozen bean. So it's basically like the worst like cookie dough ice cream imaginable. Or the worst sort of like chocolate chip ice cream, because the chips are just frozen baked beans. Which is, you might be like, that's insane, like genuine insane. You might even be like, I'm gonna, upchuck, you're gonna throw up. And fair enough, but I cannot reiterate enough how whelming it was. It was not like I was like, it's got to be one of two ends of the spectrum. Like, you eat it and you're like, whoa, this is gross, or you eat it and you're like, whoa, this is actually really good. I ate it and I was like, that's just like, that's just it. It's like, it's edible, that's fine. It doesn't taste actively bad nor actively good, in my opinion. So that was a crazy one that he had. You haven't even heard my ones yet. My ones are like weird. I would say, but two of mine were sorbets. But one of mine, well, I'll start with the one I thought was the worst, which out of mine, which was vinegar. it was malt vinegar. And malt vinegar, was it ice cream or sorbet? I think it wasn't. No, I think it was a sorbet. I think it was a malt vinegar sorbet. I will say though, it was good. It was genuinely good. But it was still the worst of the three I had, in my opinion. It kind of like, unsurprisingly, it was quite like sour. It was quite acidic. It felt like a very like acrid lemon ice cream, which maybe that doesn't make any sense, because I guess it doesn't. But like, I can't really put like my finger on my tongue on exactly how to describe it, except for it just tastes like sweet vinegar ice cream, and it just weirdly enough kind of worked. It looked like peach ice cream, I guess. It had like this weird sort of like fleshy, like pinkish flesh color, which was certainly strange. But it just like, I fully like ate it and I was like, I'm expecting this to be terrible. And I had my first bite and I went, ugh. And I went, wait a minute. Like that kombucha girl meme. It was just like, that first bite was not great. And then like I had a bit more and I was like, okay, actually this kind of works. And I was just like, mad kudos to them. They actually made it taste pretty decent, like pretty good even. I would say though, they gave us like really big scoops. I would not have an entire scoop of that again. Like a small scoop, sure, to like have an interesting sort of palette of different flavors. For ice cream, absolutely. I would not get like a full on like double, triple scoop of it, to be honest. That's just too much. The second worst flavor, or second best flavor, let's be an optimist, I think was soy sauce, which is another weird flavor. You might be like, dear darling, did you just get 3 weird flavors? And I'd be like, yes, absolutely. There were normal flavors. There was like penguin, there was like Tropicana orange juice, and I was like, I think there was, what was the other one? There's another like reasonably normal one, and I could have been like, yeah, I'd absolutely give that a shot. But I was like, no, I'm here to try the weird ones. Like, I know a penguin ice cream. I can imagine what it tastes like. That's going to be good. It's going to be chocolate with chunks of penguin in it. Penguin as in the chocolate bar, not as in the animal, by the way. If you don't have a penguin bar in wherever you're from, which is fair enough. So I had soy sauce. Like, it was literally like cucumber soy sauce in the ice cream. It was good as well. Like, it was surprisingly good. It was significantly less sour. It was almost like a salty-ish sort of. I can't like describe really how it tasted. Like, it did taste of soy sauce and it tasted of ice cream combined, but so the soy sauce wasn't particularly overpowering. It was enough to give like a sort of salty, like I want to say like yeasty, but yeasty's not the right word, sort of taste to it. Enough that I was just like, whoa, caught me off guard. But by the time I was eating my soy sauce ice cream, by the way, it was like super, super, like 100% melted. So maybe that's a bit of a misleading flavor profile. Like all of them just like melted into each other. But yeah, it was like surprisingly good. And like we even asked the person who was outside the store, being like, oh yeah, what's like the best sort of like weird ones to have? And he was like, soy sauce. It's like surprisingly good. I agree. It's surprisingly good. Like it surprisingly works as an ice cream flavor. That one, I think, like I could conceivably have like a double scoop or something of it. It was a thing that I said with the vinegar one, is like, I like this. I cannot even conceive having more than one scoop of this, because it just like, I think it was probably exasperated by the fact that all my flavors I had were like sour. I was just like, I've only tasted sour flavors like for the past half an hour or something, is insane. But vinegar is just like one which is definitely too much, I think. But soy sauce I think is very actually, you know, just like eatable. What else can I say? The last one I had was surprised, because I thought it would taste like basically of nothing. Was barley water. It was barley water plus lemon. And I can tell you, it basically just tasted like a lemon sorbet with like a bit of like herbalness to it as well. So it's surprisingly good. It tasted like almost like a lemon, not quite a lemon herbal tea, but like kind of, just as an ice cream. And it was, I would say it was insanely runny, which makes sense, I guess, because it was a barley water sort of ice cream. I guess they put liquids in, I don't know. But it was, yeah, it was my favorite one of a bunch. I was like, this is actually genuinely pretty good. Because it's just like a more interesting flavor profile of lemon ice cream. It's a thing with ice cream. The problem I find with ice cream is it's just the same flavor profile the entire way through, which is why I think rainbow sorbet ends up being like my favorite ice cream flavor, because it has multiple different flavor profiles. Not a huge amount. It's got like pineapple and like one other, whatever it is. But, you know, a lot of the time I found like rainbow sorbet, sorry. Ice cream in general is quite sort of like one note, because it's meant to be one note. Which is good if you have different like flavors of scoops, but then it's like, I don't want that many scoops of ice cream. So it's like that one note of flavor. It not only has to be good, it has to be good to be eaten like en masse. Which is, you know, it works in some cases, like for Magnum ice creams, I think it works pretty well. IMO. But then other things, it's like, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so there's just weird ice cream flavors. I don't know what other weird ones there are. Weird ice cream flavor. These 8 wacky ice cream flavors. Booger? You are out of your mind. That is not a wacky. That's just gross. I'm just saying, in these last few minutes, we're going to have a look at Google Images. I'm going to tell you which ones I would try. I mean, I would tell you, I would try basically every single type of ice cream flavor if you gave it to me. There are very few exceptions. I think the exception is I definitely would not try booger flavored ice cream. That sounds horrible. But what is this? Pickle flavored ice cream? Yeah, I give it a shot. Ranch flavored? Sure. I don't even know what ranch tastes like, to be honest. Croissant? Sure. Macaroni and cheese? Absolutely. I give cheese ice cream a taste. I don't even know what that is. That looks like a... Is that wasabi? I've had wasabi ice cream before, actually. It was actually pretty decent, I thought. I genuinely thought the wasabi gave it a good kick, and the ice cream made it sort of like mellow out as well. So surprisingly good. Ketchup. Yeah, that wasn't ketchup. There's Kikkoman. Oh yeah, here, is this actually about the exact ice cream store I went to? Ice Cream Project. I think that was it. Ice Cream Project. Yeah, that was it. That was the one I went to. Let's see what other sort of flavors they have. Kenko coffee? Yeah, coffee sounds like a great one. There's Branston Piccalilli, which is basically some sort of pickly thing, which, you know, I didn't try it. But that's because I had too many options, and I was like, I'm not going to have like 5 scoops of ice cream. It was basically a load of brands, basically. I'm now looking at it. But ice cream flavors made from a load of different like brands, which came together. I guess got sponsored it or something. Because I didn't realise the barley water was Robinson's barley water. Never even heard of it. But apparently this like entire ice cream place was made just to sell like the luxury design stuff, which was across the street. Like these branded luxury fashion items, which some of them are pretty, like, honestly, I would never use them because I think they're definitely not my style, but a lot of them are just sort of like, wow, you know. But like, credit to them on execution, basically. But yeah, really not my sort of thing. That's not my thing. Anyway, that's it. Baked bean ice cream. I'm sure my friends are going to watch this one as well, to be honest. Oh yeah, what was my overall ranking of all of them? I think it was number 1, barley water, number 2... I can't remember if I said number 2 was Jaffa cake or soy sauce. I think it was Jaffa cake. No, I think it was barley water, Jaffa cake, with dark chocolate salt, soy sauce, baked bean, vinegar, olive, marmalade. I think that was the order I had them in. Honestly, I think vinegar should probably be a bit lower because like that. I think I made that rating. I think that rating I was basing it off like the initial taste, but like after having it scoop, I'm like, vinegar's too much. Anyway, I need to go play some D&D now. So if you haven't watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been here, darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.